As soon as we hit land, I ran out of the boat, stripped down to my boxers.
We're doing this huge portage, and now Bryans puking.
And that's how you hump 800 pounds of gear over a dam.
We make it around a bend, and out of nowhere, we see a big danger sign.
You're not gonna believe this one. It's a dam. Great, another portage.
It's starting to look like we're not gonna have enough light, and we're gonna have to start canoeing in the dark.
Midnight runs, we're gonna do it now.
We ended up under a bridge.
It's not the Ritz-Carlton, eh?
My name is Brian, and this is my best buddy, and his name is Brian too.
Out of all the water in the world, only 1% is fresh water. It's all we got, and we want to explore all of it.
So we've decided to start with a trip that's never been done before. A 4,000-mile journey from Milk River, Alberta, all the way down to New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh, and did I mention we're gonna do it in a canoe?
Think we're crazy? You're right. We're the paddling Bryans. We tracked insane, we tracked awesome distance on our way from Glasgow. We skipped Poplar and we made it to Williston. And even though it took us 2 days to get up this maze of creeks, we still made it in 12 days, and the original estimate was 18.
We're on the Missouri River, and we're just about to hit Lake Sakakawea.
Pretty damn hard to tell right now. It looks like we're in a swamp or some guy's dugout on his farm or something, I don't know. We hope we're on the Missouri. This creek here is marked out as part of a lake. Apparently this hasn't been a lake for over 30 years. Our maps are older than that, so we did not know that. We thought we were over prepared. We thought, you know, there's nothing that could surprise us, but as it turns out, every day is a new surprise.
I don't think we took this trip seriously enough when we were planning. I don't think we totally were prepared for everything that we're gonna meet.
You know, it actually turns out that we are way underprepared for what we're doing. I took the canoe for a little paddle. I brought it around to this creek. I left it there last night. This morning when I went to canoe it back, I had to haul the thing and it had no gear in it. It was bone dry and that it only tracks not even 2 inches. The plan is to get to these big lakes, cross these big lakes to get to Pierre, South Dakota. But I don't know how the hell we're gonna do it because there's no water here.
At this point, it just looks like a lot of mud.
First off, I'm worried about getting out of this because it's drying up on us hour by hour. And we have 6 miles to go that way, so that's my first worry.
Well, the fact that the water levels are dropping is unfortunately making me feel real nervous. You know, we can deal with you know, rough water, we can deal with bad living situations, but if we run out of water, it's gonna be a long walk to New Orleans. This is supposed to be Muddy Creek, and it's Muddy River, actually.
It's supposed yeah, this is supposed to be Muddy River, and it's dammed up top by some beaver. Now we've been losing water at about a couple inches a day, and we barely have. I don't think we have enough to get out of here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head up this creek right now, and I'm gonna go put a little hole in that beaver's dam. We're still behind. Fall's coming soon. We know that there's problems with the river drying up, and you know that's a serious issue for us now. We have no choice but to track some distance and get as far south as we can before the cold comes. Okay, well we got one going over there. We got one there and one here. And as you can see, we're starting to gain a little bit of water. We might be okay. Another concern of ours were cougars. And no, not the cougars you guys are thinking of. The actual mountain lion cougars, the ones with claws and teeth. I don't want to run into a big giant cat. They shot a cougar less than half a mile away from us that attacked some hunters a week ago.
And they keep having more and more sightings of mountain lions because they're running out of food in the mountains, and actually down by the riverbed
there's an abundance of white-tailed deer running around, so they have all kinds of food, and they're getting less and less shy of humans.
Well, I don't want to be toyed with by a 180-pound cougar, unless she's got lipstick on.
We're entering Tornado Alley, so it's getting pretty damn windy. And windy and cold being on the water isn't, I mean, if we eventually find water, isn't the best scenario. Another thing that we've heard a lot about is Lake Sakakawea. When it does open up, it's very common to see 6-foot high waves. And, well, I'm a little bit worried about that too, because this canoe doesn't, I'm sure we could take it, we'll throw the skirt on and we'll deal with it, but I'm a little bit worried about high waves and big open waters. We've been used to dried up creeks. I don't even know if me and Bri know how to canoe anymore.
You know, we're a bit rusty on that, and now it's definitely gotten too cold for us to fall into the water. That's when you start getting hypothermia and stuff. So we're gonna have to rig everything down and be extra careful about the waves.
We're getting antsy, we gotta get going.
It's basically a race against time now. We gotta get out of here. We gotta get going. We gotta start tracking some distance.
Of course there's no water, so we're gonna be dragging this thing the whole way out. This is so we get to pull. Man, I really like canoeing, but I just really can't wait to start. Like,
I signed up for a canoe trip, not a hiking trip.
Brian's gonna take that canoe there. His destination. We're gonna meet up at that point. We worked out a system we call the 10 trip, which is basically haul the canoe with as little weight in it as possible, and then go back and forth about 10 times each, bringing gear from one end to the other of these dried up puddles, looking for lake. And this went on for hours. It went on for hours and miles, dragging the canoe, and this is worse than the dried up Milk River we had before. Okay, let's go get that last load. Oh man.
This trip is really starting to suck.
Our destination is that mountain ridge right over there. Problem is all the creeks zigzag through this area to get there. And then once we hit that mountain range, we have to go another 2 miles down it or so before we hit open water again. To just get some open water, some fast flowing water, open water where we don't have to drag the canoe anywhere, I mean, it would be nice for a change. Actually, right now, you know what? It's hard to say whether we're gonna make it to New Orleans or not. We're not gonna pack up and go back home. We're gonna keep trying, but I don't think we're gonna make it to New Orleans right now. It's getting hairy and we're way behind schedule.
We packed for some cold weather, but the way the schedule's going and the speed we're moving at, it looks like we might be catching some of the snow, and we're not really prepared for that.
I'm just hoping that once we hit the open water, it's gonna be smooth sailing again. I couldn't care less if there's 17-foot waves out there. Bring on the waves, bring on the wind, bring on the storms. Just give me some water I can actually paddle in.
We finally made it to Lake Sakakawea, the lake that we knew was out there, but we couldn't find for the longest time. As you can see, it's a nice, big, open water, beautiful lake. I think we're finally out of the mess. Finally time to get back on to the real trip here, the real canoeing. Right on, buddy, another accomplishment. Yeah, man.
We're good to go. I'm feeling good about this adventure again. You know, a couple days ago I was having my doubts, but we're pretty primed right now. It's feeling good.
We're on Lake Sakakawea now, and it's been nothing but good luck to us. You know, the weather's been beautiful ever since we got onto this lake. It's been non-stop, good days, good weather, good conditions, great campsites. I mean, finally, I think our luck's turning around.
This lake is offering us nothing but great hopes, great weather. It's going good.
Today's a good day. It's a really good day.
You know, it's dawned on us that we haven't named our boat yet. And everybody knows that's bad luck. So while I was in town, I picked up some stick-em-on letters. So today, we named the boat. I've decided to name the boat Sakakawea. It's named after, well, the Indian guide that led Lewis and Clark hundreds of years ago up this expedition. And it's also the name of the lake that, well, we finally got out of those swamps and we were finally able to really start paddling. So we figured no better name than Sakakawea. And we've never had a better name for a better boat, and we'll never find another. Cheers, brother. We're feeling really good right now. Morale is at an all-time high. This is great. This is what we signed up for. This is what I thought we signed up for. This is where we decided to camp this time. Not only are we under a bridge, but we're on a pier in the middle of Lake Sakakawea under a bridge.
Sometimes, you know, it's fun to pick unusual campsites, and this one's a pretty unusual one.
It's a really hot day. It's about 3:30. We decided to take a break. Whoops, you know what? I think at one point I might have been having a little too much fun because I lost track of the canoe. This is me trying to fetch a canoe. I guess somebody's got to go get it. And you know what? Bryans not going to do that lazy bastard. We had some serious fun today. That will work better. Today we're on such a high, we don't even feel the pressure of the schedule, of time frame, of anything. You know what? Morale is high. Everything's going so great. It's beautiful out. And then we meet Captain Dave.
What's your folks' names?
I'm Brian.
Brian?
Walworth. And that's Brian Adams.
Brian Adams?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Dave Hilleran.
Dave.
I was here before the lake was.
Captain Dave was definitely one of the more interesting people we met on this trip.
You guys got to drink Bud Light and cause all this commotion. It should be Labatt's blue.
So we had some fun putt-putting around this lake a little bit with Captain Dave and his crew. And then he offered us a tow.
It's kind of against our rules. You know, we'd said we were going to do every little bit of this under our own power, but we figured that, you know, with all the walking we did in the mud, that we kind of deserved a little shortcut.
Definitely not a good idea.
I'm setting up the camera on Captain Dave's boat there to get some shots from the deck, and I hear shouting from behind me. I turn around and all of our stuff's sinking. And you know, Brian, what were you doing? And then of course I find out, you know, he had to show off again, and he was trying to surf the canoe down the river.
Yeah, so I decided to go hot dogging and show off a little bit. That didn't work out. Capsized, put a roll on it. Oh, we're rolling? Oh yeah. When we capsized, our shit was everywhere. We lost everything. Luckily, most of it floated. Some of it's still at the bottom of Lake Sakakawea.
Oh boy.
We're lucky even that, you know, there's so many people that came out in other boats nearby, and they just right away started helping us pick up everything they could. You know, everybody was right on the scene, you know.
It was amazing to watch a complete stranger jump in the boat with Brian and start bailing out water, saving us out of that situation.
3-hour tour. I should never said that.
That experience is just another example of how people are really helpful.
We're gonna be, hey, we can only take on so much
I'm
stuff.
taking over this ship.
After the canoe capsized, we took all the gear we could find and we put it all on Captain Dave's boat, and Captain Dave set out to find us a campsite where we could dry everything out.
With being capsized, we're gonna lose the day in drying stuff, so trying to take the tow was actually less beneficial for us than having just kept paddling, but we had a great time, so no regrets there anyways. We're headed in now to Skunk Bay, where we'll dry up all our gear and reevaluate what we have and what we don't have.
All right.
Later, Dave!
Thanks. You too.
Salute, Captain Dave, and thanks for all the help.
Captain Dave saved us, but he also kind of screwed us.
Next time we're around here, we'll definitely give you a call.
What an adventure. What? You know, I really don't know what's gonna happen next, man. This is nuts.
Last night we capsized, and luckily enough, Captain Dave picked us up in his boat and was able to get all of our gear picked up and bring us over here to Skunk Bay so we could dry off some of our gear.
Skunk Bay was a perfect place to dry off all of our gear and you know, do a little inventory list of what we lost and what we still had.
I set up a couple clotheslines on this dock, and I'm drying out a whole bunch of wet clothing. It's really important to dry off your stuff. First of all, you don't want to be wet in the cold. And second of all, you know how much weight water adds to anything that absorbs it? I mean, we have 800 pounds of gear. We don't need the weight of water to go with that. I could easily turn into 2,000 pounds.
We lost a couple of pots and pans. We lost one boot, and we lost the tent rigging gear. I mean, we didn't lose any of the poles or any of the really important parts for the tent, but like the tent pegs and some of the little strings that go onto it. We didn't lose any food. We didn't lose anything that's essential to the trip. Everything we lost could be rebought very cheaply and is very common items. It was definitely worth it. I'd do it again over and over and over and over, no problem. We had a blast. Whatever, that's what this is all about. I mean, we want to make it to New Orleans, and we will make it to New Orleans, but we got to have a good time too. So definitely, let's do it again. Dave, get your boat out here. All right, well, we're sitting here just past Independence Point on Lake Sakakawea. Last night we had to build this shelter here because the wind was too bad. We couldn't even get our stoves to stay lit. It just kept blowing them out. Even with we got these little metal wind guards, wasn't helping anything. So we set this up last night. We camped here, and now using our little shelter to cook us some breakfast in the morning. We're having some leftover spaghetti because we got to get out on that water and get off this lake as soon as possible because they're announcing wind like this for the next week. If it keeps up, we're never going to make it anywhere.
Holy crap, is it windy?
This weather is insane. We just passed Independence Point on Lake Sakakawea, and we just got hit by the craziest wind. We'd been told that Sakakawea was a really windy lake, but the first part of it's pretty sheltered by the mountain ridges. But as soon as you get past Independence Point, it's just open water, and we felt the difference.
Okay, well today we have winds right now at about 30 miles an hour. They're supposed to be picking up to somewhere between 40-45 miles an hour. There's been a warning for no small boats to head out on Lake Sakakawea. But we have to make it to the Garrison Dam. So we're heading out in it. This is Independence Point, but it really should be called Windy Point, or Gusty Point, or freaking Wind Point. They only get bigger further out once we cross this point out here.
It's gonna be pretty tricky to canoe in these waves, but we got no choice. We gotta get moving.
It's gonna be really hard, but we have no choice. We gotta move forward.
Conditions are horrible right now. It's actually really scary out here.
We left this morning from the other side of the bay down there, just near Independence Point. And in 2.5 hours of paddling, we tracked 1.8 miles. And the winds, the forecast on our weather radio only say that it's supposed to get worse out. So that means we're going to be tracking less than 1 mile an hour or worse. And I'm not even too sure how much higher these waves we can deal with. We've been hitting 6-foot high swells, and and waves breaking over the boat. Even with a skirt, we're still getting soaked.
Man, was this a waste of time. You know, we made it just over a mile, and now we're stuck on this island in the middle of Lake Sakakawea, with waves crashing from every which angle. We can't go any further. The conditions are way too bad. We're gonna stay put. We're gonna play this one safe. We're just risking capsizing again, or you know, we're not gonna track any distance in this wind. We're staying put.
All right, well, we're on this island, losing another day due to the wind. There's really absolutely nothing we could do about it. I mean, we could have tried to set out there, but as it was calling for, the wind has increased, and I mean, we were already on the borderline of safety as it was this morning, so we made the call to lose a day and camp here, and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. Hopefully we can get back at her.
We have a really good spot here, but you know, it's frustrating. We want to get canoeing. We want to get to South Dakota. We've only done 2 states so far.
We're just gonna be sitting around here, waiting, wasting time, and we don't have any beer.